Hi, I'm Sarah Barmer and you are listening to AI That Works. Today we are so lucky to be talking to Tom Winter. Tom, who is the founder of SEOwind, is an aficionado in all things search, from SEO to GEO. The guy knows his stuff. I know that with AI and search, there's a lot of questions with companies about what do we do next, how do we plan for our search strategy moving forward, and so I thought now was a really good time to talk to somebody who really knew what was going on. So without further ado, let's meet Tom. Thank you so much for joining AI That Works. How have you been?
Really good, Sarah. And thank you for the invite. I'm really happy to be here and share some knowledge with you.
Thank you so much. Whereabouts are you based at the moment?
At the moment, I'm based in Warsaw, Poland, so in Europe. But to be honest, during the summer, I've been all over Europe. So spent a lot of time in Spain, a little bit of time in Italy, some time in UK, all over the place.
Lucky duck, hey? Now, listen, I would like to get an understanding, and as you are the aficionado of AI and SEO and GEO and AEO, and I know that a lot of our listeners, it is really on their roadmap and the menu of things to do for this year. So how about we kick it off nice and simple, just for those that really don't know anything about the space, but know that this is going to be a really important part of their business moving forward, marketing in particular. What is it?
Basically, AI is there, and the genie is out of the box, and we have to live with it. If it's connected to SEO or connected to anything that we're doing on daily basis, we have to live with it, and we have to find a way to cooperate with it to get better results in anything that we're doing.
Yep. And I'm going to just put the screen up, sorry. How do you feel from a marketing standpoint that this is going to change the way that people operate?
It changes a lot because the whole way we work, the whole way we think, the whole way we deliver the results is changing. There's a lot of problems that we will have to resolve, for example, the career path, how it will look like in the future. But there's also so many possibilities and opportunities that we can do, because actually right now what was done in a team of a couple of people can be done by one single person with cooperation of AI. So the whole market, not only marketing, is changing. How we basically think about the end goal, who we are, how we work. I had to go through a huge shift. I'm half a developer, half a marketer. I had to go in the last 2 years through a huge shift in my mindset, because as a developer, my mind is set into if kind of way. So if this, then that. This is how the whole code is built. So we are looking at the edge cases. We're not looking at the end goal. We're just looking if we're going from point A to point B, what do we have to avoid and how do we have to steer the path to get to the result? And right now I had to go through the whole mind shift to think about, okay, I don't care about edge cases. AI will do it for me. I need to think about the goal, actually what I want to achieve. And this mindset, this change of mindset took me probably 2 years to get to the point where I am. And I'm still not there, in my opinion. But we will all have to go through this change. That's my opinion.
And how did Tom Winter end up, you have that magical combination of being a marketer and a developer, which, I'm a marketer, not a developer, so I'm super jealous. How do you get to the point where you are intrinsically involved in this as a career? And what is it about AI that kind of really fascinates you?
I was in machine learning probably 4 or 5 years before ChatGPT was announced. So that was a natural transition to me. I was focused on finding solutions for certain things, and definitely when going through the data, machine learning was extremely helpful. So when AI was announced in first, as GPT-1, GPT-2, and GPT-3, which was basically ChatGPT that it was a natural transition to find other ways to solve the problems in marketing and in development. So, but it's changing. It's still changing. I'm using it more and more every day.
How are you using it? It's always good to hear how people are applying it to their everyday. Where are you finding the biggest productivity gain?
So for me, it's definitely not just chat form. Of course, like I'm using the chat form of AI daily basis, but it's only for brainstorming. But like the ways that gives me the biggest productivity advantage is when I'm coding, I'm using Claude Code, which helps me to assist me in the whole coding experience. And it's not just like a kind of a conversation between me and them, but I'm treating it as a teammate. Like basically it helps me to go through all my code base, and it goes like to details of how things should be resolved, and it goes one by one going through the whole plan that it creates. The other things that I'm doing, I'm using it through API to cluster whatever I want, like however I want to put together, to find things that match each other. And I'm using it for data engineering. And this is the future of AI, in my opinion, not the models itself, but actually how do we provide the data to the model. So data engineering, in my opinion, right now is far more important.
It's very interesting. Where do you think they're going to get the data from? Aren't they going to run out?
The data is like there, like we are using it as humans. So we have to think about it in a similar way. Where are we humans getting the data from? So we're getting it from sources of data that we're using on a daily basis. But just right now, think about it. If we would use it at scale, if we can multiply how many sources of data we can access, how many things we can actually retrieve to take into account when we're solving a problem. Don't think about content writing itself, like you can, of course, but anything that you're doing on daily basis, if you're retrieving certain data points from an Excel sheet from that you have at work that you might feel useful to do whatever you're doing at work. And if you could access all of these things at once, because you're not doing it right now because you just don't have enough time and the capacity of your brain is limited to some kind of amount of memory, then what would you do with that? And this is the question that you should ask yourself.
Every day.
Yeah.
What could I do? So in terms of AEO and GEO, they're acronyms that are thrown around a lot, and let's assume anyone listening to this knows absolutely nothing. They've just gotten their head around SEO. They understand that that means helping your website rank better in Google under the ads, essentially. Mostly Google is where most people care. AEO and GEO, talk us through it. How's it different? How do they differ?
So basically, from my experience and from the experience of normal bread eater, I would say AEO and GEO is just the same. Like, don't treat it as different things. Like, if I would be going into the roots, I would tell you like, okay, AEO, so answer engine optimization, focuses on optimizing content to be surfaced directly in AI generated answers. When GEO, so generative engine optimization, is similar but much broader, preparing generative AI platforms across social, across like assistants and anything else. So kind of answer engine optimization is focused on search. GEO is focused on all AI platforms producing answers. But from your perspective, I would treat it just the same. Like if we want to go technical, they're a little bit different, but like, to be honest, same thing said in different words.
Well, if you do GEO, you technically should be AEO anyway, doing AEO anyway.
Exactly.
It's like
This
a
is
little
like the
subset.
thing.
It's almost like SEO and saying that you're writing blogs to optimize the content for long
And
tail
if you
keywords.
go to any SEO expert, they will not even know the difference, how to treat them differently.
Okay, so we'll stick with GEO.
Yes,
And we're
exactly.
safe.
That would be best. Probably there will be more acronyms for that, but yeah.
The industry loves an acronym that nobody understands. And
Always,
then everyone
always.
says it. Everyone confidently says it, and you're always the person going, what does that mean? Everyone seems to know what they're talking about. But actually, most people don't. How does it differ from SEO?
This is another acronym that we have, which is search engine optimization, that we as marketing experts, we knew about it for the last 20 years. And there's a lot of SEO experts, so search engine optimization experts, which were focused on ranking mainly on Google, of course, also on Bing, Yahoo, or like different search engines, but mainly on Google. And again, is SEO different than GEO? Yes and no. Like, should you like just split them apart and say like, oh, here is an SEO expert, here is a GEO expert? I would say rather not. Still, they are very aligned, like at the level of 80%. So when it comes to GEO, we have to think about it as search engine optimization, so SEO, 5 years earlier. So it's a little bit simpler, not as sophisticated at what Google did with the whole search engine optimization. They had 25 years or even more to optimize their engines to provide you with the best possible answers, because Google's main goal was to give you the best possible answer to you. But Google gave you actually 10 or even more. On the first page of ranking, like they gave you 10 answers that you could choose from. When it comes to GEO, they can give you one answer that resolves your problem. This is like the assistant kind of that talks to you directly in normal language and needs to help you out. So it's kind of like working with another colleague that will basically tell you what is their opinion on the matter. So they will not give you multiple answers like Google does. Like, so the first SERP results, so search engine results page, like the first result, the second result, the third result, and you can choose your answer, but they will try to answer. When it comes to optimizing for GEO, it's basically more structured. Like you have to write in a simpler way how we did it in SEO 5 to 10 years ago. Kind of like a question answer or a topic answer kind of way, adding additional technical aspects like schema markup, so actually telling to the engines like what do they see on the page, and building authority. But it's like very, very aligned with SEO. I would say like similar things, right, with EAT. So experience, expertise, trustworthiness, authoritativeness. Like these are the things that we should focus on.
And so when I'm seeing all these posts by all these thought leaders on, everywhere, LinkedIn, and they have all these tables about, if you're considering bringing GEO as part of your strategy, you should be on Reddit, you should be on all of these kind of platforms where there's, I guess, more authority around it, because it's not necessarily, it can certainly be tied back to a person or specifically a company. There's no gamification at this point in time. Google reviews are a really strong one, I'm always saying, for SEO, but I see that they'll have a big role in GEO too, because they are authentic. How do you believe these platforms are going to benefit people? Should they be part of people's strategies now? Like, should you be on Reddit, Wiki? Like, should you be doing the old-fashioned stuff?
So as I said a little bit before, LLMs, like they didn't have much time to build their engines of ranking, kind of like where did they search for data. So what SEOs see, mainly they focus on authoritative sources, Reddit, Wikipedia, LinkedIn, anything that brings in authority. They prefer to scrape data from places that are authoritative. So definitely it's a hack that still works right now. Go to Reddit, go to LinkedIn, post an article on LinkedIn, probably LLMs, so AI will scrape this data and they will use it in their database as the data that they're focused on. So if you don't have a brand that is built, try to piggyback on somebody else's brand. It's called a little bit, like it's called in a negative way, parasite SEO. So you're kind of like using the authority of a different page. So for example, if I post an article using my account but on LinkedIn, I'm using the authoritativeness of LinkedIn to show the value of my article. And probably it's much more likely to be scraped by LLMs, because LLMs like to scrape LinkedIn, YouTube, Reddit, because they're places of authority.
So is that why a lot of thought leaders are posting really long articles that are not very user friendly in the feed, but like they're massive bits of text in a little tiny tile? Is that because it's not a good user experience? Is that a try GEO hack?
Everybody tries to hack it, like somehow. We are in a testing phase, and LLMs are learning how to avoid being hacked in this way. As SEOs, we always were on the gray area. Like we were testing out like what Google lets us, and where they will catch us. Like everybody says like SEO changes like all the time. Like no, it doesn't. Like always, Google said like we want to bring in best value to the end user. You should provide the best value to the end user, and we will rank you. But we as SEOs, we always found like edge cases, like how to avoid and how to just like find our way to get to being ranked without doing that exactly. Right now, Google became a really good referee, but the rules didn't change. They want to best quality to the end user. And I think it's the same with LLMs, so AI. They're getting there. They want to find a way to best rank you, and like how to rank people and how to provide the knowledge that is from the best source.
And so for you, if you're dealing with a company that comes to you and says, hey, Tom, I want to make sure that we as a business, moving forward, get a bit of an edge on our competitors. What should I be doing? Obviously, I know SEO is important because, Google still has the majority of the traffic. Like, there is a significant portion of traffic, and that, they say that 50% of all search traffic will be moving across to a search engine by, 2028. But I still think that there will still be a place for Google, and they're not silly. They're evolving their business model as well. So how do you feel like a business should kind of get ahead today with a GEO strategy? What should they do tomorrow?
So basically, they should split their budget into like chunks and try to experiment. Like on many conferences, when I'm talking to people, people say like, okay, we need to focus on geo, and I'm like asking them, okay, but how much traffic are you getting from LLMs compared to Google? So go to analytics and just check it. Like this is data, we can look at it. And from most cases, is like 90% organic traffic is Google, 5 to 10% is LLMs. Like so, still, when you're comparing Google to LLMs, like it's not that good of a deal. I would say if you would like to split your budget 50-50, I don't know. Like if we will get 50% by 2028, like from LLMs, I don't know. Maybe. Still remember that one of the LLMs is Google. So they will probably own 90% of this market. What people see that traffic from LLMs, it's kind of a better quality. Like this is a hypothesis that people have. I don't have a proof for that yet. But why we have to treat LLMs as an extension of our page. So our leads are already pre-nurtured in LLMs, and when they go to our page, they know much more about us and why they are there than a lead that comes directly from Google and doesn't know anything about us. So it's kind of like a refer that already told something to these people about our company. So probably I would treat this kind of traffic as much more quality and maybe even double the value of it because they're already pre-nurtured. So if you then split it, like let's say 20-30% of the budget to compare to 70% to SEO, if you're looking at organic, there's still a lot of overlap of the things that you're doing. I would definitely focus on creating content in my niche, but I would really niche down to a extreme level to say like I'm an expert in this and I want to create a Wikipedia of my niche, like very niche down, to tell people and share my experience, share the knowledge. So focus on EAT, experience, authoritativeness, trustworthiness, and EATX. Forgot the third E, the second E. But basically focus on this, sharing your knowledge, sharing your experience, because this is what Google and AI is looking for, your opinions. When it comes to direct knowledge, they have access to it, so they can have it. Your experience, your opinions, your data that you have, proprietary data, this is something that they don't have. So I would focus on mainly that and slowly build my own niche, a small niche that actually is mine, where I'm an expert in.
As a personal brand or as a company brand or both?
Both. I think both. Like we can do it as a personal brand, we can do it as a company brand, but definitely we need to become the authority of this specific niche. And this is like why big companies with a lot of authority are currently winning when it comes to both SEO and GEO.
Yeah. Where do you think they're spending their money? Like what specific activities do you think they're doing?
Building
Lots of-
authority, I would say still there's a lot of money going into backlinks because this is the easiest way to prove the authority. Although Google, you mentioned like so many times that they don't look at it, they do. LLMs for sure, they look at it. And building like thought leadership insights and actual content that is helpful, but not building something just for SEO. So the time where you're publishing articles for the sake of publishing articles are gone. Like you actually have to bring in value, like something that others don't, angles that others didn't, and showing what you can do.
Having chatbots on your site, having extensive FAQs that you're updating all the time, that almost question and answer like you'd expect to see in an LLM, and doing a little bit of research around what are the frequently asked questions that are coming up in your sector. Is that still something that you should put more weight on? Because it used to be obviously a very good SEO strategy, but now with the kind of, I guess, methodology of a GEO style search, in an LLM, it is really question and answers, right?
Yes, so you can make your website much more interactive. Just think about it from this perspective. A couple of years ago, something that was really a big topic in SEO was something that is called evergreen content.
Yeah.
So let's assume that I'm writing evergreen content that tells you how to build your brand voice. I can write an article telling you what kind of steps do you have to go through to build your brand voice, what are the types of brand voices, and I will explain you. Basically, I'll create a Wikipedia of brand voice telling you exactly what are the things that you should do when creating your brand voice. But right now, what's possible, I not only can show you how to do it, I can take your hand using an agent on the website and do it with you. I can tell you how you should do it. But why should you even care? Like if I can help you directly and custom build your brand voice with you. So think about it like what kind of interactions you can do, showing your competence on your website, helping the customers to achieve their goals instead of showing them how to achieve them.
Yeah, like instead of telling them, show them.
Do it with them and but just small things that will tell them like, okay, this is an entity that you want to work with. They have the knowledge, they know how to do it. They helped me already with doing it.
Yeah. And do you think that from a ranking standpoint that will help from a large language model perspective because you are demonstrating the authority on the site?
Also, yeah, that definitely helps. These are the calculators kind of like earlier we had to actually had fixed calculators that calculated something, and they were financial calculators. There were like different types of calculators that everybody was using because they wanted to see like how it works and like what is the end result. But right now these calculators can be much more conversational, not based on specific formula. There are specific things inside, like for example brand voice. If you provide me with an article with your brand voice inside, so basically I will spit out a brand voice for you as an example.
Oh, you will?
As an example, I can. That's not a problem.
Thanks. You will now?
No. I don't like want to do it right now. I'm just like explaining how to do it. Like, so for example, this is an example. Like, so we do have such a calculator. So basically, our customers can go to us. They can give me an article that they wrote,
Yeah.
and what I will do, like on our site, our system will do it. We will tell them like, look, this is your brand voice. This is how you sound. Because based on the example that you just gave me, these are the things that you should focus, like you're focusing on, and this is descriptive way of telling you how do you sound. And then you can use this brand voice, for example, in writing any kind of articles using AI, telling AI, look AI, this is my brand voice. This is how I sound. And when you're writing this article, make it sound like that.
And is that an agent? How do you guys do it?
Like we're using AI definitely, but this is just an example of kind of a calculator of today's world. So,
Yeah.
and how much you can do with that. The imagination is the only thing that blocks you, but it's a way to turn evergreen content into actionable assistant kind of.
And how are you finding clients? Obviously, you've got SEOwind, which we're going to talk about at the end. But how are you finding clients are getting their heads around having to straddle both SEO and GEO? And how are they feeling that they see the value? Because it's quite hard to track the value of LLM searches, I think, at this point. But correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, how are you finding it?
So basically what I do is like we created a SaaS tool, so software as a service, which is SEOwind.io, which is an AI writing tool that creates articles simplified. What we do, we use organic, first of all, organic traffic, because this is what we're good at and we're getting organic leads from that. A lot of customers are coming from referrals from our current customers because they see that there's much more value in the tool that we have than other tools that other people use. Because when it comes to AI writing tools on the market, they are mostly wrappers to ChatGPT. That means that they go to ChatGPT, ask a simple question, write me a brief, write me a title, write me a description, and based on that, write me an article. And that means that you're using AI as a search engine. And it's not meant to do that. In my opinion, it's more of a logical engine. So if you provide the context, if you provide all the information to it, you'll be able to create something of value. And this is what we do. And because of that, we give value much more than competitors do. So our customers are happy to refer us. I also I'm on many conferences as a speaker. I do podcasts like that one. So I'm trying to share as much knowledge on LinkedIn, and I'm trying to talk to as many people as possible from my perspective.
And how are you finding that your clients are enjoying kind of having, or even people that you're working with, who is getting a great outcome from not just using your articles, but also from employing strategies like GEO in their business?
So my customer base, mainly who we work with is agencies that build a lot of content. So they work for their own customers or internal marketing teams. From my perspective, the more they use the tool, that means the more they like it. I love to look at the usage. The more usage I see, the happier I am, because I know that people are getting the value that they wanted. And I'm trying to help them out to actually teach them how to do it in the best way to get the best results.
Yep. How is it different from what else is on the market? How did you guys build it to make it have that little bit of secret sauce?
So from my perspective, as I mentioned already, we try to use AI as a logical engine, not a search engine.
Yeah.
So what we do inside the tool to write articles, it's a huge workflow with a lot of AI agents in between to gather the knowledge. I often say to people look, SEOwind is not an AI writing tool, it's a research tool. It's kind of 80% of our whole process is researching and finding bits and pieces that we need to deliver to AI. When we have everything in place, when we scrape enough data from different sources, we get the data that we need, AI writing is kind of like a cherry on the top. That's easy because you can pull all the data and you can put it into the process. We rewrite the articles multiple times, having different goals, having multiple quality gates in between just to check, okay, did our research do enough? Like, did we do enough of things? Did we find enough of data that we need to write the article? When we write a draft, we say like, okay, is it quality enough? Like, if not, then what do we need to do to fix it? It's kind of like a human. We don't, as a human, we do the research. We pull the data from different places. We don't write the article from scratch from top of our head. We go through certain steps. We plan it, we research it, we write a brief, we write a draft, we iterate on draft, we add additional sources, we do multiple things. And this is a similar way that we use in SEOwind.
Which I think is really important, having worked with SEO for such a long time myself, and even just knowing content, knowing what is coming out of a lot of the LLMs as well. There is, particularly when new models are issued, there is a real it can be really difficult to get good content, and it's I think a universal complaint at the moment. But to have something that has the capability and the guardrails in place to ensure that you're not just getting something that's just been coughed out of one of these LLMs, and content for the sake of it as well. As you said, like, research is a massive chunk of what you do. So ensuring that the article has a proper foundation as opposed to just for the sake of it, I think, as you said, puts them miles ahead of everyone else from a content and a ranking perspective.
And this is the future of AI, in my opinion, in any niche. Systems will beat models, and it will eat it for breakfast. Like, basically, if you just imagine this, like, right now we have GPT-5, let's say, like, this is something that we can use in SEOwind. If I used our workflow and our system and I used GPT-3, so like an older version of GPT, I would probably beat, hands down, a person that would use GPT-5 directly in AI, because they can't go through so many data sources and they can't pull all the data they need. So the model is important. I'm not saying no, but it's not that important. Like, the whole process and the workflow is far more important as a system, how you go through it. I don't believe that there will be such a big difference in models in the near future, but what will be built are complex systems that are impossible basically to do when you're talking directly to ChatGPT, because there's so many pieces flying around that from humans' perspective we're not just capable of doing that.
Do you think the models will start to silo more around their functions? So, for example, Claude's known for being great at writing, great at maths, great at code. That's what the majority of people have said from a thought leadership standpoint. From my own experience, I know that it's a better writer, and I've had some good experiences with coding as well. From a ChatGPT, it's the generalist. Perplexity. Let's talk about Perplexity, because obviously it's a different concept. How do you feel like the Perplexity model is going to influence the way that we search in the future, and companies? How do they ready themselves for that? Because it's a bit different.
Actually, I think the term search will change. It will not be search. We will talk. Because we are not searching for things. We're asking, and talking to it's kind of like a conversation mode. So it's resembles more of a conversation between me and my colleague than actual search. I'm not looking, I'm just asking about certain things. So I think this term will change. It will take a while, because we're used to searching and Googling. I think Googling is already almost gone. But searching will change, the whole paradigm we are looking for data will change into conversation mode, and we talking to our colleague. When it comes to Perplexity, this is part of it, basically how we talk to the data. Instead of searching for data, we actually talk to the data. And I love to use it. I use it on daily basis. I use it through API mostly. So we use it to search for specific things and take out data that we want.
Do you think that they'll be monetized?
This is I'm paying for that. So they're monetizing.
Content in the asking, in the talking. You think that someone will be like a paid person?
This is a big question because at the moment, all AI models or all AI companies, they don't have, apart from Google, they don't have a business model. Like, let's be honest, like you paying for a ChatGPT Pro subscription doesn't cover the costs. So it's not a business model that can last long. Let's see how long. They're burning money at scale. Uh, let's see where they are heading. Google is the only one with a business model. They sell ads, but there's tests of selling ads. There are some tests on monetizing through Cloudflare.
Yep.
Also, I don't know where it's heading, but definitely they will need to monetize it because the money will end.
Well, and the reason for that, I guess, for people who don't understand, is it's expensive to run these things.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how expensive, but definitely expensive.
Expensive. How did you come about with SEOwind? How did this concept, this SaaS product, come out of that head of yours? Where did it come from?
So a few years back, I'm a serial SaaS founder, and one of the things that I was doing a lot in, let's say, 2014, 2015, was creating content for SEO. And one of the tasks that I really hated was building briefs. So if you're creating any kind of an article, you have to start with the foundation. So deciding like what exactly do you want to write about, how it will be structured, and so on. To build a brief, it took me an hour to 2 hours, and I went always through the same process. I had to open up like 20, 30 tabs of different things. I had to use my memory a lot, like just to pull the data and just like structure it in a certain way. I really hated it, and I wanted to find a way to create briefs in a more automated way that will keep the quality. Because every time that I wanted to simplify writing briefs, I was losing quality, and I didn't want to do that. So then AI came and we started to use GPT-2, then GPT-3 to create briefs for humans. But we saw that if we're able to pull enough data about what do we want to write there, we saw like we can write articles on top of our briefs because the data that we're providing to humans, it's quite similar to the data that we need to provide the AI models. And this is where we started working on actual writing articles, not shallow, empty articles that you normally get from AI.
And is it just you?
No. Like it's a little bit more people. We're about 8 people inside the company. More developers, more marketers, working together on this project.
But it was your idea.
No, like I have a business partner, so
I
there's 2 of us like on the top.
Sure, yeah, that's good. And you're a serial SaaS founder. What are the other ones that you've come up with?
So earlier I was building with a couple of my friends a tool for testing developers' skills and mapping the skills of developers inside. It's called devskiller.com. And we're working with Fortune 500 companies with mapping the skills inside the company, because at the moment reskilling is really a big thing inside the companies. Like all the people are reskilling just to change, to adjust to what we see on the market. So this is like a really an amazing tool that helps to map out the skills inside the company, to know exactly who is working there, what kind of skills they have, how we can adjust them, how we can make them better when it comes to the value that they bringing to the company.
That's incredible. And it's live now.
Oh yeah, like it's live for the last decade.
Oh, well, that was a good one. As it's, you're not a failing serial founder. You like move from one good one to the next one, right?
Yes, but I do a lot of mistakes. Just like remember, when you're doing something, you mainly do mistakes. Like 9 out of 10 things are mistakes, and like 1 out of 10 is like it's the thing. So like if you're not trying, you're not doing mistakes.
And that's the thing about AI as well, which I think is kind of interesting because, I'm an AI trainer, I'm an AI consultant. I talk to a lot of businesses about AI. 6 months ago, no one would talk to me. Now they want to talk to me. But the conversation is still with a lot of trepidation. No one wants to rush into something that is going to be a mistake. But
Mm-hmm.
I think at the same time, sometimes when you are in a really new environment, particularly like this, the use case doesn't change, that there is an opportunity to solve for something. Technology is evolving really quickly, so no matter what, there's going to be some good that comes out of it, but if you don't do anything, you're in a way worse position.
Yes, exactly. Like I'm telling people that like all the time, like because I hear from a lot of people like, okay, we can't implement AI because like we will have to fire 20% of our staff, for example. And then I'm asking them, okay, I do understand this approach,
Yeah.
but think about it like that all your competition will actually implement AI. What will you have to do in a year? Will you have to fire 100% of people? Or
Yeah.
how will you deal with that? Like you can't compete, like it's impossible. So maybe you should actually go this way and help to build ROI, help to build the value of your company. And this way, maybe your company will actually not fire but grow because it can compete with others. Think about it from this perspective. And another thing that I'm talking to a lot of people, especially with agencies that create content, they say like, okay, right now we're creating content using some contractors. Like, so we have this whole mindset of like, we need to provide content that is human made. And I'm telling them like, hold on, like you're just thinking that it's human made because somebody told you like that we're doing it with these hands. You already transitioned to AI written content because your contractors are using AI to write content. You're just thinking that you're using humans for that.
Yeah.
So like get a hold of your process, be aware of your what you're doing because the transition is already done. Like it's already gone. And you're still in the past when everybody is like in front and you're using actually AI not knowing that.
Indirectly. Absolutely. I mean, 78% of staff are bringing their own AI to work. So,
Oh,
for companies to be like, we don't do AI, we're not ready for it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, do you know what you're doing? You're compromising your company because there's no AI here and everyone's bringing it to work. So all your stuff's being thrown into all these free models and you don't even know. And by the time you write the policy will be outdated. So how
yeah,
about you just go subscribe to some things with an actual proper like level of compliance and tell everyone they can use it because they're going to anyway. That's what I find
exactly.
interesting. It's just like, oh my goodness.
And exactly, yeah. So this is the problem that they're talking about, like how we want to go through the transition, but the transition already happened.
And I,
It's like, what are you discussing even?
I know it's not I find that the pace, they say that the technology is going to outpace us. And the people who will be okay will be the ones who know how to use AI, who
Yeah,
understand it, know how to use it. I mean, when super intelligence, maybe that's different, but who know how to use it, um, who know how to think conceptually about the processes and how they work and how to be better, to duplicate themselves essentially and do more with the same. But I find it extraordinary that that kind of whole process of evolution within organizations and just mindset, I think, is really still a battle, and I'm just so shocked. In Australia, it's very slow. Um, I'm finding, I think conversations are happening, but nothing else is happening to some
yeah.
extent. What about you? How are you finding it over in Poland or Europe?
It's like in Europe, like definitely the regulations are far slower than the technology. I believe that like the future is like for architects of the niche, and maybe right now it will make more sense, like what I said in the beginning of the talk, like
Yeah.
the mindset of goal oriented, not if oriented. Like, so is this change, this transition is so important because you have to be the architect that knows what's the goal and help the team of AI agents or like however you call them help you deliver the end result that reaches the goal.
Yeah.
And if you are the architect, you're needed. Like you're really important. If
Yeah.
you're not, if you're a clicker, a person that just like clicks a button, change it. Please change it.
Well, I mean, they say that there's 190 million new roles coming on board, that are AI related. And I feel like there are a lot of positions that also are not going to survive it. So if you're in one of those positions right now, you'd be really thinking seriously about reskilling.
Yes, definitely,
You
definitely,
want
yes.
to. You actually have to. Okay. So in terms of like we talked about budgets and we talked about the need to kind of blend SEO and GEO and just have a very open mind about, the two different types of ways that people are asking the platforms for information. How do you think success can be measured when you're using, say, GEO versus SEO?
So definitely, I would still look at the same data points. For me, money talks for every single department inside the company. So
Yeah.
if money comes from a certain department, and marketing definitely is a department that can bring in money to the company, then it works. Like we can use, of course, analytics or different sources to actually track where are we getting the money from. So where are the leads coming from, and if they're converting to money in the end, because this is why companies live. Like if they don't get the money, they will not live.
No. But if you think about like a GEO search versus a Google search, for example, in Google you've got 10 results, in GEO you've got effectively one. Doesn't
Mhm.
that make it just so much harder to rank?
It's all about brand awareness. Like if it's harder and if it doesn't work, then do it. Like easy as that. You have to leverage the places that you can get the conversions from. So at the moment, it's a bet on going to Geo and optimizing for Geo.
Yep.
Maybe it's a hack. If you can convert and leverage this channel, then do it. If you can't, then don't do it. This is purely Excel sheet maths that shows you like if it's worth it or not worth it. SEO is highly competitive, but you have to compare it from to other sources of leads. So, for example, to paid ads. If paid ads give you a better ROI, so return on investment, easy choice. Like put it all into the Excel, and the Excel will actually answer where you should put your money on. Of course, like keep 20% of your budget on tests and things that you want to test out, and like maybe you will see like another channel that will bring you in more money. But put the money basically on the things that are bringing you the money.
Yeah. But I think attribution's an interesting thing and being a part of the conversation, in the pathway to purchase from an SEO standpoint or a GEO standpoint is so
Yeah.
critical. That bottom of the funnel is just one nice little chunk of your marketing budget.
But like, this is my favorite term in marketing, like thought leadership content. We have to build thought leadership content on LinkedIn somewhere. And I'm always asking, how do you measure that it actually brings you value? It's like, it just does. Like, you don't measure it, you think it does. Like, so if you're betting on that.
Yeah.
So it's similar. Like, should I focus on GEO or should I focus on thought leadership insights? Measure it. Find a hypothesis that you will be able to measure, like the success, and then measure if you succeeded.
Yeah. Well, okay, it's very clear as day, right?
Yeah.
What industries do you think that it works best for as far as GEO?
Knowledge heavy. So anything that like brings in a lot of knowledge, trust sensitive industries. Of course, like your life, your finance is like a big one, and it's also like has specific boundaries when it comes to like trust and legal, and but this is like knowledge heavy. Any kind of like consulting, any kind of like anything that brings in the knowledge. This is like something that will definitely benefit from Geo.
Okay. And doing all of the bits and pieces we discussed, and then there's more, right?
Yeah, so anything that you need clear answers, kind of like not like that you go through endless browsing of some kind, like, but you need a clear answer with specific knowledge that you need to look at.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I think I've like asked you like a million questions. Oh, there's one. If you were on a desert island and it had an internet connection and you were only allowed to use one AI tool, what would it be and why? But you had sort of electricity, you had a battery in your
Yeah, I got it. Probably I would use something that would be my Wilson of the island. So basically, one that I can talk to and it would understand me on daily basis. So probably I love Claude. Like really, I love talking to Claude. If I need to chat storm with it, like I go there.
Like a smart friend.
Smart friend that I can talk to. Like if I'm on the island, that is like I'm the only person like looking at Tom Hanks. Like I would love to have my Wilson.
Except your Wilson is a computer and it's got Claude on it and it's talking to you. This is
Why
good.
not?
This is a good answer. I love it. I thank you so much, Tom, for being on AI That Works. I've had such a nice chat, and I really think that anyone listening to this will have a really good understanding of how search is going to change, but also how you can help them, especially if you're an agency, to create some content that really can withstand the current models, which everyone's kind of employing, but also it's got the robustness to really help them get ahead.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. It was like a pleasure to talk to you. And if anybody wants to connect, like please find me on LinkedIn. I love to talk to people, so just direct message me.
Thank you so much. See you later.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.